Commander Jake Morrison stood by the big window of the space station New Haven. He watched a strange ship coming closer through the dark space. The ship looked different from anything humans had ever built. Its metal was dark blue, and it had weird curves that seemed to bend light around them. 3 years ago, aliens had made first contact with Earth. Since then, everything had changed. The Galactic Council had many different alien races, and they all seemed afraid of humans. Nobody could understand why. Jake touched the glass window with his hand. He was nervous. Today, a very important alien was coming to visit. The alien's name was Zektar, and he was a war veteran from the Korthak Empire. The message from the council had been simple but scary. They needed to talk about humans and war. Dr. Lisa Parker walked up next to Jake. She was Earth's best scientist for studying aliens. "I still can't believe they requested this meeting," she said. "What could be so important that they need to send their most experienced military commander?" Captain Ben Hayes joined them at the window. He was a tough soldier who had fought in many wars on Earth. His uniform had many medals on it. "Whatever it is, they're scared," he said. "I've seen that look before. It's the same look soldiers get when they talk about battles that went very wrong." The alien ship was getting closer now. Jake could see that it was much bigger than it first looked. The ship was as big as a city block, but it moved through space without making any sound. Strange lights blinked along its sides in patterns that hurt human eyes to look at. "Look at the size of that thing," Ben said. "They could destroy this whole station with one shot if they wanted to." Lisa shook her head. "If they wanted to hurt us, they wouldn't send just one ship. The Council has thousands of ships. This is something else." The space station's computer voice spoke over the speakers. "Attention all staff. The Korthak delegation will dock in 10 minutes. All security teams report to Docking Bay 7. Jake straightened his uniform. As the station commander, he had to welcome their guests. But something felt wrong. In all the meetings with aliens over the past 3 years, none of them had asked to talk about military things. They always wanted to discuss trade, science, or culture. Never war. The 3 humans walked to the docking bay. The hallways were empty except for security guards. Everyone else had been told to stay in their rooms. The council had requested complete privacy for this meeting. At the docking bay they waited. The alien ship connected to the station with a loud metal sound. Jake could feel the station shake a little. Then there was silence. The airlock door opened with a hiss. Steam came out, making it hard to see. Then a figure walked through the steam. Zektar was 7 feet tall. His skin looked like green and brown scales that moved and changed color. He had 6 eyes arranged around his head, so he could see in all directions at once. Long scars covered his arms and face. Some of the scars looked very old, but others seemed recent. Behind Zektar came 2 other aliens. They looked like his bodyguards. They carried weapons that humans had never seen before. The weapons glowed with a soft blue light. "Welcome to New Haven Station," Jake said. His voice sounded smaller than he wanted it to. Zektar looked at Jake with all 6 of his eyes. When he spoke, his voice came through a small device on his chest. The device translated his words into English, but something was wrong with the translation. His voice sounded scared. "Commander Morrison," Zektar said. "I am here because the council ordered me to come, but I want you to know that I did not want to have this conversation." Dr. Parker stepped forward. She had studied alien behavior for years. "We're honored by your visit. We hope we can learn from each other." Zektar's scales changed from green to dark red. Lisa had learned that this meant the alien was very upset or afraid. "Dr. Parker, you do not understand. I am not here to learn from you. I am here to warn you." Captain Hayes moved his hand closer to his weapon. "Warn us about what?" "About yourselves," Zektar said quietly. "About what you really are." The alien commander looked around the docking bay. His 6 eyes seemed to study every corner, every shadow. "Is there somewhere we can talk in private? What I have to say cannot be heard by others." Jake nodded. "Follow me to the main conference room. It's completely secure." As they walked through the station, other humans they passed stopped and stared. Most humans had never seen a Korthak before. Zektar was the first of his species to visit a human station, but the alien didn't seem to notice the stares. He seemed focused on something else, something that worried him greatly. The conference room was large and round with a big table in the middle. The walls were covered with screens that could show information from all over the galaxy. Jake activated the privacy shields, which would block any recording devices or listening equipment. "Please, sit down," Jake said, pointing to chairs around the table. Zektar did not sit. Instead, he walked to the big screen on the wall and activated a device from his belt. Images appeared on the screen. They were pictures of Earth, but they looked strange. Some of the pictures showed human soldiers fighting in wars, but something was wrong with the images. "Before I begin," Zektar said, "I need you to promise me something. What I am about to tell you must never be shared with your military leaders or your government. If the wrong people learn this information, it could start a war that would destroy many worlds." The three humans looked at each other. Jake spoke first. "We can't promise that. If this affects Earth's security, we have a duty to report it." Zektar's scales turned almost black. "Commander, if you report what I tell you today, Earth's security will be the least of your problems. The galaxy itself will be in danger." Lisa leaned forward. "What are you talking about? Humans have only been in space for a few decades. We barely have any weapons that could threaten other planets." "Dr. Parker," Zektar said, his voice getting quieter, "that is exactly the problem. You think you are a young, peaceful species just learning about the galaxy. But the truth is very different." The alien commander pressed a button on his device. The screen showed a map of human history, with all the major wars marked in red. But there were other marks too, in blue and green. Marks that the humans didn't recognize. "For the past 200 years, Zektar said, alien forces have been studying your species. We have watched your wars. We have participated in them. And what we learned has terrified every military mind in the galaxy." Captain Hayes stood up, quickly. "You've been involved in our wars? Which ones?" "All of them," Zektar replied. "Every major conflict since your American Civil War has included alien participants. We disguised ourselves as human soldiers. We embedded our technology in your weapons. We tested our armies against yours." Jake felt his heart beating faster. "Why? Why would you do that?" Zektar looked at him with all six eyes. "Because we needed to understand what makes humans so dangerous in combat. We needed to know if the stories we heard were true." "What stories?" Lisa asked. "Stories about a species that never loses," Zektar said. "Stories about warriors who become more dangerous when they are losing. Stories about soldiers who can defeat enemies with technology thousands of years more advanced than their own." The alien commander activated another image on the screen. It showed casualty reports from various human wars, but the numbers were much higher than any human history book had ever recorded. "These are the real numbers," Zektar said. "These are the casualties from your wars when alien forces were involved. Do you see the pattern?" The humans studied the data. In every war, human forces had suffered terrible losses at the beginning, but as each war continued, the alien casualties grew larger and larger, while human casualties became smaller. In every conflict, Zektar continued, human forces started with a disadvantage. Inferior weapons, smaller numbers, less training. But by the end of each war, you were winning. Not just winning, but dominating forces that should have been impossible to defeat. Ben Hayes was studying the numbers carefully. These alien casualty figures, they're massive. What kind of weapons were you using? Energy weapons that could destroy tanks with one shot, armor that could stop any human bullet, ships that could fly faster than your jets, soldiers with enhanced strength and speed. Zektar paused. It didn't matter. Humans found ways to defeat all of it. Jake sat down, heavily in his chair. "You're telling us that we've been fighting aliens for 2 centuries and we didn't know it?" "Correct. And you have been winning." The room was quiet for a long moment. Then Lisa spoke. "If humans are so dangerous, why are you telling us this? Why warn us?" Zektar's scales changed color again. this time to a pattern that looked like fear, mixed with respect. Because Dr. Parker, some factions in the galaxy have decided that humans are too dangerous to be allowed to develop further. They are planning to test you one more time. What kind of test? Jake asked. The kind where they won't hide what they are, Zektar replied. The kind where they will come at you with everything they have, hoping to destroy humanity before you become unstoppable. Captain Hayes leaned forward. When? Soon, Zektar said. Very soon. And when they come, they will learn the same thing that every alien force has learned when fighting humans. What's that? Ben asked. Zektar looked at each human in turn. The conference room became very quiet. Zektar pressed another button on his device. The big screen lit up with moving pictures. The humans could see battles from Earth's history, but something was very wrong with what they were watching. Jake looked closer at the screen. Those soldiers, some of them don't look right. The images showed World War II, Vietnam, and the Iraq War. But in many scenes, soldiers who should have been human had strange features. Some had skin that looked too smooth. Others had eyes that reflected light like an animal's eyes. A few had hands with too many fingers. What you are seeing, Zektar said slowly, is secret footage from your wars. But these were not just human, fighting human like you think. Captain Hayes stood up and walked closer to the screen. His military training made him study every detail. Those aren't human soldiers at all. What are they? They are my people, Zektar said quietly, and soldiers from many other alien races. For 200 years, we have been using Earth as a testing ground. We put our soldiers in your armies. We gave them human disguises. We wanted to study how humans fight wars. Dr. Parker felt her hands shaking. You mean aliens have been fighting in our wars? Our own wars? Yes, Doctor, but not fighting against you. Fighting with you and alongside you. We embedded our soldiers in both sides of your conflicts. We wanted to watch how humans behave in battle. We thought it would be easy to study a primitive species. Zektar's scales changed to a darker color. The humans had learned this meant he was very upset. It was supposed to be a simple spy mission. We would learn about human military tactics and leave. Nobody would get hurt. Jake felt like his whole world was falling apart. What went wrong? Why are you telling us this now? The alien commander changed the images on the screen. Now they could see reports with numbers and charts. The numbers showed how many soldiers had died in different battles, but the numbers were much higher than any human history book had ever said. What went wrong, Commander, is that we learned something that scared every military leader in the galaxy. Humans don't just fight wars, you make them perfect. Zektar pulled up more information on the screen. It showed how human military tactics had changed over time. Every other species in the galaxy fights the same way for thousands of years. We learn some tactics, we use them, and then we stop changing. But humans are different. Humans never stop learning. Captain Hayes studied the data carefully. I still don't understand. What makes us so different from other species? Your species has something we call battle learning, Zektar explained. When other species face a stronger enemy, they run away or they surrender. But humans become more dangerous. You don't just change your tactics. You change everything about how you fight. You turn your weaknesses into weapons. Lisa shook her head. But surely other aliens do the same thing when they're losing. No, Doctor. Other species adapt to stay alive. Humans adapt to win. Zektar's voice sounded scared now. In every war where we put observers, we watched human forces do something impossible. You didn't just beat enemies with better technology and more soldiers. You learned to use their own weapons against them better than they could. The screen showed a specific battle from World War II. Human soldiers were fighting against troops. That looked different. The enemy soldiers had weapons that shot bright beams of light instead of bullets. They wore armor that seemed to stop everything the humans shot at them. This battle involved Irelian shock troops, Zektar said. They had plasma rifles and energy shields. Their technology was 500 years ahead of human weapons. They should have won easily. What happened? Jake asked, but he was starting to be afraid of the answer. The humans captured one plasma rifle from a dead Eurelian soldier. In 6 hours, human engineers had figured out how it worked. They built devices that could shut down Eurelian shields. By the end of the battle, human soldiers were using Eurelian weapons better than the Eurelians. The screen showed more battles. In each one, the same thing happened. Alien soldiers would start winning with their advanced technology. Then humans would capture some of their equipment. Within hours or days, humans would figure out how to use the alien technology. Soon, the humans would be winning. "Look at this battle from Vietnam," Zektar said, changing the image. Zenthari warriors joined the North Vietnamese army. The Zenthari are considered the best fighters in their part of the galaxy. They have enhanced muscles and faster reflexes than humans. Their armor can stop bullets, and their weapons can cut through steel. The humans watched as the battle played out on the screen. At first, the Zenthari soldiers were easily defeating American troops. But then something changed. "What happened there?" Ben asked. American soldiers noticed that the Zenthari always attacked the same way. So they started using tactics specifically designed to fight Zenthari weaknesses. Within 3 days, human forces were defeating Zenthari warriors in hand-to-hand combat. Dr. Parker looked confused. But how could they know about alien weaknesses? They didn't even know they were fighting aliens. "That, Doctor, is exactly what terrifies us," Zektar said. "Humans seem to have a natural ability to find and attack any weakness in their enemies. It doesn't matter if the enemy is human or alien. You instinctively know how to hurt them." The alien commander showed them more data. In every conflict, the same pattern appeared. Human forces would face superior enemies. They would suffer heavy losses at first, but then they would start learning. They would adapt, and soon they would be winning. "The Zenthari reported something that no other species has ever experienced," Zektar continued. "They said that human soldiers were reading their body language, predicting their attacks and countering their strategies in real time. After 1 week of fighting, humans were defeating Zenthari warriors as easily as the Zenthari usually defeated other species." Jake walked to the window and looked out at the stars. "So you're telling us that every major war in human history had alien participants, and we always won?" "Not just one, Commander. You did something that has never happened in galactic military history. You made superior enemies afraid of you." Zektar activated a new image. It showed a meeting of alien military leaders. All of them looked scared and angry. "This is a recording from an emergency military council meeting after the Vietnam conflict," Zektar said. "For the first time in galactic history, military leaders from 6 different species were afraid of one primitive planet. The humans could hear the alien voices through the translator. The aliens were arguing about what to do about Earth. Some wanted to destroy the planet immediately. Others wanted to study humans more. All of them sounded frightened." "The Zenthari commander who fought in Vietnam gave this report," Zektar said. "He told the council that humans were the most dangerous warriors he had ever faced, not because of their technology or their numbers, but because they learned from every battle. He said that fighting humans was like fighting an enemy that became smarter and stronger every day. Every mistake the aliens made, humans would remember and use against them. Every successful alien tactic would be copied and improved by human forces." Captain Hayes was studying all the data on the screen. "This is incredible, but it still doesn't explain why you're telling us this now." Zektar's scales turned almost black. "Because, Captain, some factions in the galaxy have decided that humans are too dangerous to be allowed to continue existing. They are planning one final test." "What kind of test?" Lisa asked. "The kind where they don't hide what they are anymore," Zektar replied. "The kind where they come at you with everything they have, hoping to destroy humanity before you become too powerful to stop." The room became very quiet again. Then Jake spoke. "When?" "Soon," Zektar said. "And when they come, they will learn what every other alien force has learned about fighting humans. They will discover that the most dangerous thing in the universe is not better weapons or more soldiers." "What is it then?" Ben asked. "The most dangerous thing in the universe," Zektar said quietly, "is a human who knows they are fighting to survive." The room stayed quiet for several minutes. The three humans were trying to understand everything they had just learned. Finally, Jake spoke first. "There's more to this story, isn't there? You haven't told us everything yet." Zektar's scales changed to a very pale color. The humans had never seen this color before. "Yes, Commander. What I have told you so far is just the beginning. The real story is much worse." He pressed more buttons on his device. New pictures appeared on the screen. These showed star maps with red marks all over them. The red marks showed where alien armies were located throughout the galaxy. After our failures in Korea and Vietnam, the galactic powers agreed to stop putting soldiers directly in human wars. But some groups wanted to know more. They wanted to see what would happen if humans knew they were fighting aliens. Dr. Parker felt cold suddenly. "When did this happen?" "During your Gulf War in 1991, Zektar said very quietly. "A group of 3 alien empires worked together. They put a full regiment of mixed alien forces with the Iraqi army. They used special technology to look human. They fought with modified versions of human weapons." Captain Hayes was looking at the military data on the screen. "The Highway of Death?" "Yes, among other battles. But Captain, what you call the Highway of Death was something completely different. It was the total destruction of the most advanced alien fighting force ever sent against humanity." The screen showed the true size of what had happened. Hundreds of alien vehicles and thousands of alien soldiers had been involved. The humans had thought they were fighting a normal human army, but they were actually fighting enemies from across the galaxy. "The alien forces had better armor than anything humans had ever built," Zektar continued. "Their weapons could destroy human tanks from miles away. They had communication systems that could coordinate attacks across hundreds of miles. Instantly, they should have won the war in hours." "What happened instead?" Jake asked. "Human forces achieved something that no military in galactic history had ever done before. You fought a perfect war." The screen showed detailed battle reports. The humans could see how the fighting had gone day by day. At first, the alien forces were winning easily. Their superior technology was destroying human equipment before the humans could even see them. But then something changed. Every tactic the alien forces used, human units countered within hours, Zektar explained. Every piece of alien technology was either destroyed or captured and turned against its creators. By the end of the conflict, human forces were not just defeating alien technology. They were making it better while they used it. The alien commander's voice got even quieter. The coalition forces reported something that still gives me nightmares. They said that human soldiers were taking alien equipment and modifying it during battles. Tank crews were turning anti-aircraft weapons into precision ground attack systems. Infantry units were changing alien communication devices into electronic warfare tools. Jake stood up and walked around the table. "You're saying that our soldiers were improving alien technology while they were fighting?" "Not just improving it, Commander. You were making it do things that the original designers never imagined it could do. A weapon designed to shoot down aircraft was being used to destroy underground bunkers. A communication device meant for talking was being used to jam enemy systems." Captain Hayes was studying the casualty numbers. "These alien losses are massive. What kind of weapons were they using?" "The most advanced weapons in the galaxy," Zektar replied. "Energy cannons that could melt through any known armor. Missiles that could track targets across continents. Shields that could stop nuclear explosions." "And humans destroyed them all?" Lisa asked. "Worse than that, Doctor. Humans captured them and used them better than the aliens who built them." Zektar activated a new set of images. These showed individual battles in great detail. The humans could see alien soldiers with advanced armor fighting against human troops, but in every image the humans were winning. "Look at this engagement," Zektar said, pointing to one battle. Korthak heavy infantry with powered armor fighting against human marines. The Korthak armor can stop bullets, increase strength by 10 times, and has built-in weapon systems. The humans watched as the battle played out on the screen. At first, the Korthak soldiers were easily defeating the human marines. But then the humans started working together in new ways. The human marines figured out that the Korthak armor had a weakness, Zektar continued. The joints between the armor plates were vulnerable for exactly 1 second when the soldiers moved. Human snipers started timing their shots to hit those joints at exactly the right moment. That seems like normal military tactics, Ben said. Captain, the weakness I'm describing was discovered by Korthak engineers only after 50 years of testing. Human soldiers figured it out in 3 hours of combat. The screen showed more battles. In each one, humans were facing impossible odds against superior alien technology. And in each one, humans found ways to win that the aliens had never seen before. But the most terrifying report came from the final battle, Zektar said. His scales were now completely white, which the humans had learned meant extreme fear. Human forces had begun working together with a precision that suggested they understood alien military doctrine better than the aliens understood it themselves. Dr. Parker was trying to understand what this meant. How is that possible? Your species has a gift, Doctor. You can look at any enemy and immediately understand not just how they fight, but how they think. You can predict what they will do before they know they're going to do it. Zektar showed them the final battle report. In the last engagement, human commanders were giving orders that perfectly countered alien tactics that hadn't been used yet. Human soldiers were moving to defensive positions before alien attacks had even been planned. It was as if humans could read the aliens' minds. Zektar continued. But we know that's impossible. What you were actually doing was something far more frightening. You were learning each alien species' military psychology so completely that you could think like them. Jake sat down heavily. You're telling us that humans learned to think like aliens better than the aliens could think like themselves? Yes, Commander. And you did it while maintaining all of your human advantages. You combined alien tactical knowledge with human adaptability. The result was a military force that no one in the galaxy had ever seen before. Zektar paused to let his words sink in. The after-action reports from that conflict led to an emergency meeting of the Galactic Security Council. For the first time in recorded galactic history, the Council voted to consider the complete destruction of an entire planet's population. The humans looked at each other in shock. Captain Hayes found his voice first. They wanted to destroy Earth? Captain, 3 different galactic empires volunteered to do it. The vote to destroy your planet was defeated by only 2 votes. The debate lasted for 6 months. The only thing that stopped them was the fear that trying to destroy humanity might make you even more dangerous. Jake walked back to the window. So instead, you decided to make contact with us. You brought us into the galactic community. Yes, Zektar confirmed. The Council decided that the only way to control the human threat was to integrate your species into galactic civilization. They hoped that peace and prosperity would make you less dangerous. Has it worked? Lisa asked. Zektar's scales went through several different colors very quickly. None of the humans had seen this pattern before. Dr. Parker, in the 3 years since first contact, human military technology has advanced faster than the combined progress of the rest of the galaxy over the past 100 years. He showed them new data on the screen. Your species has not become less dangerous in peacetime. You have become more dangerous. You are using the same intelligence that makes you terrifying in war to improve every aspect of military science. Look at these reports, Zektar said. In 3 years, humans have developed new types of armor, new weapons, new ships, and new tactics. But more importantly, you have started thinking about warfare in ways that no other species has ever considered. The screen showed human military research projects, advanced spacecraft, new types of weapons, defensive systems that could protect entire planets. All of it developed in just 3 years. The Council's worst fears are coming true, Zektar continued. Humans are not just warriors. You are evolution in military form. Every challenge makes you stronger. Every problem becomes a solution. Every enemy becomes a teacher. The alien veteran looked at each human carefully. I came here today to warn you. There are groups in the galaxy that believe humanity must be stopped before you become unstoppable. They are planning one final test, but this time, they will not hide what they are. When will they come? Captain Hayes asked. Soon. And when they arrive, they will come with the largest military force ever assembled in galactic history. They believe that overwhelming power applied quickly enough might succeed, where everything else has failed. Jake turned from the window. What do you think will happen, Zektar? The alien commander was quiet for a long time. Commander Morrison, I have fought in 47 different wars across the galaxy. I have seen civilizations rise and fall. I have witnessed the military power of every major empire in known space. The room stayed silent for a very long time. The humans were trying to understand everything they had learned. The weight of the truth was heavy on their minds. Jake was the first to speak again. You said they're coming soon. How soon exactly? Jake asked, his voice steady but worried. Zektar looked at his device and checked some information. According to my sources in the military command, the attack fleet is already being assembled. They will arrive at Earth within 6 months. Dr. Parker felt her heart beating faster. How big is this fleet? Doctor, it is the largest military force ever brought together in galactic history. Ships from 12 different empires, over 10,000 warships, millions of soldiers. They are bringing enough firepower to destroy entire star systems. Captain Hayes stood up and started pacing around the room. What kind of weapons are we talking about? Planet killers, Zektar replied simply. Weapons that can crack a world in half. Energy beams that can boil oceans. Virus bombs that can kill every living thing on a planet in hours. The humans looked at each other with fear in their eyes. Jake walked back to the window and stared out at the stars. Somewhere out there, an enormous alien army was preparing to destroy everything he had ever known. Why are you telling us this? Jake asked without turning around. If your people want to destroy us, why warn us? Zektar's scales changed to a color the humans had never seen before. It was a mix of many different colors, all shifting and changing. Because, Commander, I have seen what happens when someone tries to destroy humanity, and I am more afraid of what you will become than I am of what you are now. Lisa leaned forward in her chair. What do you mean? Doctor, every time in your history that humans have faced total destruction, you have not just survived, you have evolved. You have become something more dangerous than you were before. Zektar activated his device again. The screen showed new images. These were from Earth's ancient history. Pictures of early humans fighting against terrible odds and somehow winning. Look at your own history, Zektar said. Ice ages that should have killed your species. Natural disasters that destroyed other civilizations. Diseases that wiped out entire populations. Each time, humans not only survived, but came back stronger. The screen showed the Black Death in Europe, volcanic eruptions, massive earthquakes, and other disasters. In each case, human civilization had been nearly destroyed, but each time humans rebuilt and became more advanced than before. Your species has a pattern, Zektar continued. When faced with extinction, you don't just fight to survive. You fight to become better. You use every disaster as a chance to grow stronger. Captain Hayes stopped pacing and looked at the screen. You think that's what will happen if this fleet attacks us? Captain, I know that's what will happen. The question is not whether humanity will survive the coming attack. The question is what humanity will become after you win. Jake turned around from the window. You're certain we'll win? Zektar's scales went completely black for a moment, then shifted to white. Commander, I have studied every major military conflict in galactic history. I have analyzed thousands of battles between different species, and I have learned one thing that terrifies me more than any weapon. What's that? Ben asked. Humans have never lost a war when you knew you were fighting for your survival. Not once in your entire history. The alien commander showed them more data. Look at these statistics. Every time humans have been attacked by a superior force that intended to destroy them completely, the attackers have been defeated, not just beaten, but utterly destroyed. The screen showed battles throughout human history. The Mongol invasions, World War II, colonial rebellions, and many others. In each case, humans had faced enemies with better weapons, more soldiers, and superior technology. And in each case, the humans had won. But this time will be different, Zektar said quietly. This time, the attacking force will be using technology that is thousands of years ahead of human science. They will have weapons that can destroy planets. They will outnumber human forces by millions to one. And you still think we'll win? Lisa asked. Dr. Parker, I think you will do something far worse than just winning. I think you will learn. Zektar's device showed new images. These were computer simulations of what might happen during the coming battle. When this fleet attacks Earth, they will start by trying to destroy all human military forces quickly. They believe that if they can kill enough humans fast enough, the rest will surrender. The simulation showed massive alien ships attacking Earth's defenses. Human ships and space stations were being destroyed by weapons that looked like miniature stars. But they don't understand human psychology, Zektar continued. When humans see their friends and families being killed, they don't become weaker. They become absolutely ruthless. The simulation changed to show human forces regrouping and fighting back. But something was different about the way they were fighting. They were using tactics that seemed impossible. Within hours of the attack beginning, human forces will start adapting to alien tactics. You will capture alien technology and figure out how to use it. You will learn from every mistake and turn them into advantages. Captain Hayes was studying the simulation carefully. This shows human forces using alien ships. How is that possible? Captain, your species has a gift for understanding any technology you encounter. During the coming battle, human engineers will reverse engineer alien systems in hours instead of years. Human pilots will learn to fly alien ships better than aliens who trained for decades. The simulation showed human forces becoming more and more effective as the battle continued. Soon, they were not just defending Earth, but actually attacking the alien fleet. But the truly terrifying part, Zektar said, will come after the battle is over. What do you mean? Jake asked. Commander, when humans win this war, you will have access to technology from 12 different galactic empires. You will have captured weapons, ships, computers, and scientific equipment that represents thousands of years of alien development. The screen showed what Earth might look like after the battle. Human cities were being rebuilt with alien technology. Human ships that looked like nothing that had ever existed before were flying through space. In one war, humanity will advance from a single-planet species to the most technologically advanced civilization in the galaxy, Zektar explained. You will go from being a threat to some aliens to being a threat to all aliens. Dr. Parker felt a chill as she understood what Zektar was really saying. You're not just warning us about an attack. You're warning the galaxy about what will become after we survive it. Exactly, Doctor. The aliens coming to destroy you think they are solving a problem. What they are actually doing is creating something far worse. Zektar turned off his device and looked at each human in turn. When this war begins, it will be the last time that any alien species underestimates humanity. Because when it ends, humans will be the most dangerous force in the galaxy. Jake sat down at the table. What should we do? How do we prepare for something like this? Commander, you cannot prepare for this in the way you think. You cannot build enough ships or train enough soldiers to match their numbers, but you don't need to. Then what do we need? Ben asked. You need to be human, Zektar replied simply. You need to do what humans have always done when faced with impossible odds. You need to adapt, learn, and evolve. The alien commander stood up to leave. I have given you the only gift I can. I have told you the truth. What you do with this knowledge is up to you. As Zektar walked toward the door, Lisa called out to him. Why? Why did you really come here to warn us? Zektar stopped and turned around. His scales shifted through many colors before settling on a pattern that meant deep sadness. Doctor, because I have a family on my home world. I have children and grandchildren who I love very much, and I know that when this war begins, it will not end with just Earth. What do you mean? Jake asked. Commander, when humans discover that aliens have been secretly involved in your wars for centuries, when you learn that we have been studying you and manipulating your conflicts, when you realize that some of us wanted to destroy your entire species. Zektar paused, his voice becoming very quiet. You will not stop with just defending yourselves. You will want answers. You will want justice. And you will come looking for everyone who was involved. The alien commander's scales turned completely white, and when angry humans come to our worlds with captured alien technology and 2 centuries of hidden grievances, I fear that my children will not survive what comes next. With those words, Zektar left the conference room. The 3 humans sat in silence, finally understanding the full scope of what was coming. The aliens weren't just afraid of losing a war, they were afraid that trying to destroy humanity would unleash something far worse than they could imagine. As Jake looked out at the stars, he realized that in 6 months, everything would change. The question was not whether humanity would survive. The question was what humanity would become when the galaxy discovered that the most dangerous thing in the universe was not superior technology or overwhelming numbers. The most dangerous thing in the universe was a human being who had finally learned the truth about their place in the galaxy